Welcome to your Thrive Forward Immersion package. I am Laura Ivonne, founder of Thrive Lotus, and I am very happy that you are here today because that means you are going to start to enjoy the first pre-recorded training session on the resilient spirit. So without further ado, let's begin because we need to cover a lot of things in the next 20 minutes. The resilient spirit. Leading with unshakable purpose and ethical influence. We are going to dive into the power of purpose and the values in leadership. Why? Because purpose has a profound motivator and anchor. Research shows that 70% of people define their personal purpose through work. If the purpose is not there, it's not clear or aligned, leaders feel disengaged. And when leaders are disengaged, their team will be as well. This is what Simon Sinek likes to call the why. If you don't understand your why, it's going to be very hard to survive in challenging times or in chaos. And having clear mission and purpose is going to help you build that resilience. Additionally, we're going to discuss that integrity and ethical clarity to help you build that credibility and have that moral compass. In the session today, we're going to unpack what leading with purpose means, how you can implement it, and understand how this can supercharge your performance and the performance of your team. Purpose leadership. Purpose-driven leadership is not just Purpose-driven leadership is not just a nice to have. It actually yields results. And before we dive into some of the data and insights I have prepared for you, I want to just share very quickly what are we going to cover today. So this is the agenda. We're going to have a 2026 leadership landscape, and I'm going to introduce you to the AI Leader Compass. This is the one that is going to help you with that ethical framework or principles. They are inspired by the Yamas and Niyamas. This is where ancient wisdom has no limits and is still valid and relevant today. This is the Thrive way of doing it. Then we're going to talk about the blueprint. You should have access to your blueprint. And there we have some traits for the future fit leader. Authenticity, purpose, ethical decision-making, emotional intelligence, and resilience. But in this session today, we're going to focusing a lot in purpose and ethical decision-making. We're going to mention the other three, but that's just what we're going to be covering deep dive today because we have the limited time. And then we're going to talk about your personal leadership operations system and how AI can power that style. Okay, so let's just introduce you to some of the data that is there, insights that are out there between studies and research. And there is three main things I want you to understand and know why purpose-driven leadership is so important. Number one, employees are 3 times more likely to stay in their job if they believe in the company's mission and values. Then 85% of people follow leaders only if they trust their integrity. And last but not least, leaders with a strong moral compass navigate crises more effectively through clear ethical decision making. So there is 3 important reasons why you want to become a purpose-driven leader: retention, trust, and resilience in crisis management in those tough times, right? And now I'm going to introduce you to the foundation of everything, the AI Leader Compass. As I give you a heads up before, this is inspired in the yoga wisdom. There are all limbs or 8 limbs of yoga. These are the first two. In Sanskrit, we call them the Yamas and Niyamas. But the way we're going to apply them in leadership is actually to balance the social code, what's external with people, and the inner code, what happens within you. And I just love this framework. When I was doing my yoga teacher training, I start transforming since I was learning one by one. It's just incredible. And it will help once you understand them all. It will help you not in your life, but in the leadership, which is the case that we're going to be learning now. Now, the purpose of today is not showing you every single concept, but it's just to introduce you to what is there that you will need this compass in order to navigate those challenges. And always consider socially, like externally around people and within you. And here is the 10 like concepts that we can deep dive within the membership and the Thrive Forward program. But number 1, psychological safety. Number 2, transparency, abundance mindset, essentials, and energy focus, and non-attachment. That is part of the social code. What happens externally? Then what happens within us? You have clarity and optimization, resilient contentment, discipline grit, radical self-awareness, and visionary trust. Why I call it this is like a balance, because you may have something going on with the people around you, but you got to balance out what you are going through in that same moment. So it's very, very interesting, this dynamic. An example I can give you is that talking about psychological safety, right? You as a leader want to create a culture where people feel safe to innovate, fail, and speak up without fear or retaliation, right? So you need to consider and provide that environment. But what does that mean to you is that you need to decide how you are going to create that culture by being, honest and have clear idea, a clear strategy, and how you are going to make that happen. So that's why you have to do both. Now, this is something that in the AI era, which is very interesting, and I've been saying this in whoever I talk to, in my content, in my books, that the more AI we have, the more digital we become, and the more in this digital world we live, the more human we need to be. And this will keep us in that human space. And this cannot be replaced by AI. And if you use AI, if you don't have your ethics right, that's going to replicate as well and amplify as well. So before mastering AI, we must master how we treat others, which is the social code, and how we treat ourselves, which is your inner code. And this is why I love this compass, because it's not only about others, it's also how you navigate yourself. Why are values important? Why am I investing time in speaking about resiliency and purpose-driven leadership? In your blueprint, you also got your 8 future fit traits of leadership, the future fit leader, and values are integrated and interconnected between all of these traits. And as I mentioned before, purpose is your motivator. When you are facing challenges and when you are in crisis mode, your purpose and your values is what's gonna keep you stay and go through those challenging times. So having your purpose is having your motivation that will anchor your action. Now, another reason why they're important is because that will help you to build that resilience. So you can focus on what you are trying to do in times of chaos and uncertainty, because you will know what to do. Then we spoke about how people follow leaders that have integrity. Why is this important? It's because that builds loyalty. Leading with integrity and ethics fosters trust and loyalty among team members and with the leader and within the organization. So that's the reason why values are very important. And the last thing, as I mentioned before, there is better performance. Companies that are driven by purpose so significantly higher workforce retention and performance. That's the reason why we need to focus on our values, and that's why they are so important. Now, for today, key and immediate takeaways. My aim is that number one, you identify your core values from 1 to 3 max. Then I'm going to share with you a values-based decision-making practice. Very easy, very simple. Then we're going to draft your leadership purpose statement. And I want you to walk away with clarity and a renewed sense of what you stand up for as a leader. If you achieve those, you are more than ready to build that resilient spirit and be that purpose-driven leader. Why did I decide to name this session Resilient Spirit? The reality is that we as women face many challenges in life, in the workplace. And one of them is that most times, unfortunately, more often than we like, we are faced with situations where we feel that our values are tested or sidelined because of the corporate environment. We feel the pressure to fit in, and we kind of compromise and conceal our feelings. We might not speak up. We might not be strong about what we're really thinking and what we really want as the outcome and the opinion. So this creates guilt and a horrible internal conflict. And with time, well, it can also lead to burnout. But this is why becoming a resilient spirit is going to help you face those challenges. And the way we're going to do it is through 2 things. One is embrace the idea that authenticity is your strength. Being authentic and true to one's values is your most powerful asset that drives not only professional success, but personal peace. Reaffirming your purpose. When you reaffirm your purpose, believe in your values, you don't need to wear this mask. You can embrace your true self. And we're going to work on that today. Let's just do this quick how, because there is no learning without practicing. So before we jump into the value-based decision-making process, we're going to do another exercise that I like to call values post-it exercise. What I want you to do is to write down 1, 2, max 3 leadership goals in one post-it each. Whatever those values are: honesty, transparency, courage, compassion, being on time, whatever is your leadership value. And I want you to stick them where you see them every day. On your desk, on your screen, take a photo, put it in your phone as your background, however you want to remember them and see them every day, because we're going to use them for our checklist review. So every time we face a decision or something happens, you go back to them and you can make sure that you are behaving and aligning to your core value. Very simple, but very meaningful. So here are the steps that we're going to follow. And why do I say where you can see them every day? Because you need to practice daily to become a habit. So that's why we need to see them every day and remember every day that we need to align and to our value. So number one is we identify our core values, which you already have. Hopefully you have put your post-its, at least one. Then you're going to do that reflection. You're going to use those values as your checklist to reflect whether you live that value each day, and think of any scenario you can live it with. We'll do a quick exercise now. And then you're going to apply that value decision making process. Here, this is where the tweak happens. You're going to actually be very conscious now on how you're going to apply that leadership value into your decisions, into your conversations, and to everything you do. That's where the tweak happens. So let's say we have let's just do a quick example. Let's say tomorrow, and you have to start tomorrow, right? Straight away. You have a meeting with your team, and your value is honesty. So you go to your meeting, you do whatever you have to do, and then you reflect and say, did I live my value today of honesty? Was I transparent? Did I share everything I needed to share with them? Did I withhold any information? Well, consciously, you're going to start making decisions on that specific value. Did you have the opportunity to be more open about it and share more information with your team? That simple practice is going to translate your purpose and ethics into daily habits. Now, talking about purpose, let's now start with our leadership purpose. And there is a lot of people that say that the purpose, you find your purpose, the purpose finds you, but we're not going to get into that. We're just going to follow a script to build our leadership purpose. But before we jump into that, I promise you, I was going to talk to you about your personal operating system. So you have the blueprint now. You have the 8 traits of the future fit leader. In this case today, we're looking at authenticity and ethical decision making. I have shared with you the compass, where you are going to find that challenging balance into external and internal, others and yourself. And now you're going to use your purpose to run that operational system. As we just did the exercise before, you are going to do everything, make decisions following that purpose, that core value. And last but not least, we're going to add artificial intelligence, where we're going to start using it as a tool, as an ally. Also, in your blueprint, you will also have a collection of prompts that are going to help you integrate that in your leadership role every day. So once you manage this, you are ready for sustainable success. Now, to start drafting your purpose, and before I jump into that, I just want to leave you with this idea as a reflection for you to start thinking on what is actually that your purpose is going to look like. Your leadership begins with who you are when no one is watching. So hold that thought, and let's now craft your leadership purpose. You have your values. You need to identify who you're going to influence with, and what is the ultimate impact that you're looking for. So this is how you're going to do it. Your purpose statement is going to be, I lead with your core value, 1, 2, 3, maybe too much 3, but you can put there as many as you have, to empower your audience. That will be your team members, your peers, your colleagues, higher up, execs, so that then you have your ultimate impact. In my case, I lead with courage to empower my colleagues to share with me when they disagree in a compassionate way, let's say. That's your purpose statement. Very simple, but very powerful, because you're going to write it down, you're going to practice it and do it and live it every day. So I promise you, we have our purpose, we have our compass, we understand what are the traits. Now let's amplify with AI. In your blueprint, you also have the 6 core areas that I have identified that are going to be very good for women leaders to leverage and use. Look at those in detail. We're going to keep studying them as we keep on revealing the training. But now we're going to talk about AI as a bridge and accelerator. This is what I like to call the AI mirror prompt. Sometimes we are in a time restriction and we have to make a quick decision. Sometimes we are a bit hooked or emotional or connected to the issue, and we just need another pair of eyes or ears, right? In this case, we need another set of ideas or views. And sometimes you are in the office, you cannot disclose, might be confidential, so you can just peer review it with someone of your trust, or in this case, you can run it through your preferred and approved at work AI. So this is what I suggest you to do. This is the prompt that is going to mirror and is going to give you that extra pair of eyes or ideas that you might be blindsided. So this is how it goes. I am facing decision X. My core values are A, B, Z, whatever your core values are. Analyze the potential outcomes of this decision and flag any areas where I might be compromising my integrity. And I'm going to give you a horrible example because, of course, no one likes to let people go. But let's say that I am facing to the decision to make someone redundant at work. And my core value is compassion, honesty, and transparency. Analyze what can go and how could I be compromising my integrity. And then you will be surprised what it tells you. It totally gives you something that you might not have considered. There you go. You integrated. And we are just over the 20 minutes, but we're almost done. I just want to wrap up and say that in conclusion today, very fast, we clarify your purpose. We identify your 1, 2, 3 core values, which are essential to build your resilience and lasting impact in your organizations. You understand now that purpose-driven leadership and ethical decision-making fosters trust, authenticity, and retention. And believe it or not, you have integrated ancient yoga wisdom with modern tools through that leader's AI compass, your leadership traits in the blueprint, and your AI. You are now super equipped to start your journey to become a purpose-driven leader with unshakable ethical foundation and be able to create that resilient spirit to thrive forward. Now, whoever that knows me know that I love quotes. I love to hear from others, learn from others, and get inspiration from others. And in this case, I will leave you with this one from Ruth Bader. Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. A lot of food for thought, huh? Ethical influence, not by force. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. And I'm very looking forward for our next training session. Bye-bye.